Hey there, my name's Paul, and this is Out of Neutral, a weekly tune-up where we look to the Bible to get in gear and follow Jesus into the life he came to make possible. Today I want to talk about whether Jesus was with Daniel in the lion's den. Jesus said that the scriptures pointed to him and shared with his disciples all that the Old Testament taught about him. But for a long time, I wasn't sure how. There were some obvious prophecies, but it seemed as if the Bible mostly told stories about people like Noah and Moses and David. How could they also be speaking of Jesus? I came to learn that one of the ways that the Old Testament points to Jesus is by laying down patterns and categories that foreshadow Jesus in a way that can hardly be coincidental. In his commentary, City Gradenius shows how reading the account of Daniel in the lion's den, for instance, whets people's appetite for someone greater than Daniel. In Daniel 6, the scene opens with the political authorities plotting to bring Daniel down. They're stymied in their efforts because they can't find a ground for complaint against him, because he was faithful and no error or fault was found in him. His faithfulness and prayer only heightens the picture. Daniel is an innocent sufferer surrounded by enemies. The officials finally realize that the only way they'll trap Daniel is in connection with the law of his God. They approach the king, manage to persuade him to go along with their plot. When the king realizes the implications for Daniel, he seeks to free him, but to no avail. The legal wheels have been set in motion, and there's nothing he can do to reverse them. Daniel is put in a pit which is covered by a stone and sealed by the king. At daybreak, Daniel is found alive and unharmed. His enemies are brought down, and he is honored. The parallels in this passage between Daniel and Jesus are remarkable. Jesus had to endure the plotting of the chief priests and elders of the people. They too could find no basis for a charge against him. Like Daniel, Jesus' life was marked by intense prayer. He's finally arrested in connection with the law. The chief priests approach Pilate, persuade him to put Jesus to death, even though he's convinced of his innocence, and he wants to release him. Jesus is crucified and put in a tomb which is covered with a stone and sealed by order of Pilate. Early in the morning on Easter Sunday, Jesus is found alive and unharmed, and he's greatly honored. What are we to make of all these parallels? It's not that Daniel 6 is a secret code predicting the coming Messiah. We're not supposed to read the Bible as if there's some mysterious double meaning. But frequently, God will lay down patterns in the Old Testament that set the stage for Jesus. Daniel would have been viewed as a hero to the Jews. He showed them how to endure persecution righteously. He showed how to live in exile. He showed how to trust in God no matter what the cost. He showed the godly path to honor. As Jews suffered under Roman persecution, they would have longed for another leader like Daniel. The parallels between his life and Jesus help us to see Jesus as a greater Daniel. He was more innocent. He suffered greater persecution. He wasn't merely spared death, he came back from the death. And just as Daniel was honored by the king, Jesus was exalted by God the Father. Jesus wasn't in the lion's den, but Daniel's time there points to how great Jesus is. As we learn from Daniel, we also worship Jesus as the greater Daniel. May his sacrifice move you to praise him today. That's all for this time. Today's video has helped you get out of neutral. Leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to join us on the journey.